A bit of background on the NEA Big Read. We are honored to be among the 78 organizations that were awarded grants for the 2019-2020 NEA Big Read cycle. The National Endowment for the Arts partners with Arts Midwest on this program, which is meant to broaden our understanding of our world, our communities, and ourselves through the joy of sharing a good book. Their diversity of titles in their NEA Big Read library aims to reflect many voices and perspectives, and ultimately to inspire conversation and discovery. And I have to mention that Arts Midwest has been phenomenal this year, given the pandemic and all of the chaos that it created around everything. But our grant was supposed to be completed in September, and they gave us until the end of the year. We sent them an invoice for the books that we had paid for before the quarantine started. They sent us the full 80% of our grant. They've just been wonderfully flexible in helping us to shoulder on, so to speak. So why did we do the NEA Big Read? The mission of Shake Rag Alley Center for the Arts is to provide educational experiences in visual, performing, and literary arts for children and adults. And that's in addition to cultivating the creativity that thrives in our rural part of Wisconsin and stewarding our buildings and grounds and on our campus in the historic heart of Mineral Point. We really wanted to expand on our literary arts programming. We have a great program annually in our writing retreat, which the 4th annual writing retreat starts tomorrow. We have an annual winter writers reading series that runs December through March. We started a monthly Driftless Poets workshop that's been meeting monthly since January of 2018. And we offer a handful of standalone poetry and creative writing workshops. But this really felt like a feather in our cap if we could pull this off. We wanted to apply. We wanted to share this opportunity with our community and our region. So we went for it. How did we do it? We got together starting, if you can believe it, 2 years ago this fall with our partners at the Mineral Point Public Library and the Mineral Point School District Libraries. Initially, our committee was composed of Barb Polizzi, who's since retired from the library, Diane Paulskill, who succeeded her as director, Chris McCoy, the middle and high school librarian for the school district, Mickey Uppena with the elementary school library, Jackie and myself, and this year we were joined by Candy Basting, who's been working on youth programming at the Mineral Point Library. So we started getting together 2 years ago in the fall to review the NEA Big Library and select our book. We applied in January 2019. Jackie and I co-wrote the grant. We reviewed it with everybody, submitted it, and in March, we found out that our full grant award of $15,000 was going to be honored, but we were under media embargo until June of 2019. You can imagine how difficult it was to keep that under wraps, but we were really excited when we did share the big news in June. And started planning. We had intended for our big read to happen in April of 2020. We had, again, from June of 2019 through September of 2020 to plan, and we chose April because it was National Poetry Month. So there's a reason for that timing. So we wanted to share a visual with you of some of the 30 titles that are included in the NEA Big Read library to give you a sense of the variety of titles. Many of them are classics in the American canon. Many are newer, some are poetry, some are fiction, some are memoir. But we really were thoughtful in our approach to this. We met as a team and reviewed every single title, which is not to say that we read them all. But we compared notes and we shared ultimately what we thought would resonate with our community, what would be meaningful, and spark that important conversation that good books should do. And what we ended up selecting was Citizen, an American Lyric by Claudia Rankine. Published by Grey Wolf Press in 2014, It's the first book of poetry to become a New York Times bestseller for multiple weeks on the paperback nonfiction list. So terms that are often used to describe Citizen are genre-defying, genre-bending, and if you've had a chance to flip through the pages, you'll see that it is very unique. It won the National Book Critics Circle Award in Poetry and was also a finalist for that award in criticism, the first time in history that a book was named a finalist in more than one category. Among its additional accolades are a long list of prizes, and it was named Best Book by numerous media outlets for the year of its publication. And who is Claudia Rankine? Rankine was born in Jamaica and moved to New York when she was 7 with her family. Her parents are in healthcare, and she attended Catholic school, which makes an appearance in Citizen. She talks about her parents as being avid readers, remembers fondly her mom reading Emily Dickinson when she was young. And after college, she decided against law school in order to pursue creative writing. She's written that becoming a poet felt like a calling, and she didn't argue. She's the author of 6 collections of poetry, 2 plays, numerous video collaborations, several of which, those are collaborations with her husband, John Lucas, and you can watch several of those on her website, claudiarankine.com. You can also learn more about her 6th collection of poetry, Just Us, An American Conversation, which was published this month, and she's on a virtual book tour at the moment. So if you have a chance to go to her website, you can access links to interviews she is doing, book talks she's giving right now. Rankine is the recipient of numerous fellowships, including from the NEA, the MacArthur Foundation, Academy of American Poets, the Guggenheim Foundation. She's the editor of several poetry anthologies, serves as a chancellor of the Academy of American Poets, was named a MacArthur Foundation Fellow in 2016, and is currently the Frederick Eisman Professor of Poetry at Yale University, a post she was awarded after 10 years of teaching poetry in California. She has said that poetry has no investment in anything besides openness. It's not arguing a point, but it's creating an environment. So what is Citizen, an American Lyric about? Frankly, it's about racism. It's about anti-Black racism. And again, if you've had a chance to thumb through any of the pages right away in that very first chapter, a series of vignettes of anecdotes that she's collected lay bare moments of racism and moments she's called invisible moments of racism that happen so quickly you're not even sure you heard them or noticed, or this refrain echoes throughout Citizen, and it's in this excerpt on the right on your screen. Did you just hear that? Did you just say that? Did you just see that? Did he just really say that? That refrain is part of the lyricism that I find in the book, and it layers upon layer, compounding the trauma of racism. And when I've relayed some of these anecdotes to friends of mine, they too can't believe that this is really something that somebody said or did. And Rankine has said that these anecdotes are collections. She queried friends of hers and invited them to share times that race has entered the room and left its mark. And so not everything in the book are things that have happened to her, but she's sharing this collective experience. The Believer, an arts and culture digital magazine, has described Citizen as forcing you to observe what's outside the window, what's on the television, what's at the margins of the painting, and what's happening, whether you admit it or not, at the margins of your mind. So if my computer will cooperate, I thought we would listen to Claudia Rankine talk about Citizen in her own words. And this is from July. Her book was the PBS NewsHour's pick for their Now Read This program, and this is about 6 minutes long.